Hello, children. What's up? Hope doing well. How's your grandma? What about your father? Is he fine? Okay, then. Today we are going to discuss about human relationships. Let's get into our lesson. Today, our speaker, I mean narrator, is an young man who came home on a purpose. And it is high time to return to his working place. So, what's the story? Let's listen from him.
Unit 3 The Journey.
Hello, friends. After spending a leisurely Sunday at home, the very thought of returning to work on Monday is tiring. Lethargy creeps in if the holiday continues over an extended period. That is how I felt when I was preparing to return to my place of work after spending 6 months at home. The fact that I was to leave behind my newlywed wife and go to a far-off place did not help either. Obviously, I did not want to go. However, I finally did decide to go. I did not have much to carry by way of luggage, just a trunk.
Now, children, it's time to discuss on certain vocabulary. Right then, here the young man said, lethargy creeps in if the holiday continues over an extended period. Can anybody make it clear?
Mom, I think lethargy means feelings of being tired. After spending holidays at home with his newlywed wife, he was not willing to return to his job.
That's right, Sam. And you know, obviously mean evidently.
Ha ha ha, and he didn't want to move away from his newlywed wife.
Okay, let's listen to the young man now. How did he go back? And what is his problem? Come on, let's see.
Ours is a hilly terrain, without any motorable roads, and there is no certainty that we are ever going to have any roads. In any case, while coming home we do not carry bedding. Besides, I had come home this time around for a special purpose, to get married. My parents had arranged my marriage, according to the customs of our tribal society. Time flew, and 5 months into my marriage I realized it. Initially I thought of extending my leave, even taking unpaid leave. But after some dilly-dallying, I finally decided against it because marriage had increased my responsibilities and I had got into debt. On my way home from the bus stop, my trunk had been carried by a porter. The problem now was we couldn't find anyone who could help me carry the trunk to the bus stop. At another time of the year, we would have easily found someone to help me, but now most of the villagers were busy in the fields. Nobody had time to spare for me. In fact, carrying the trunk should not have been such a worry for me, except that my education had made me shun physical labor. After all, I was a government officer and the idea of people seeing me carry my own luggage was not at all amusing. Otherwise, for a young man like me, it should not have been an issue to carry a 20-kilo chest on my back.
So, children, hope you followed the narration, right? Now, can you summarize the narrator's words briefly?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Yes, please. Okay, concentrate.
The narrator was a government officer. He came to his village to get married. It's an arranged marriage according to their tribal society. He thought to extend his leave, as he didn't want to depart from his newlywed wife.
Good. What more?
The bus stop was far away from his home. He couldn't find anyone to carry his luggage to bus stop.
Yeah? Why do you think the young man couldn't find anyone to carry his luggage to bus stop?
I will explain. Since most of the villagers were busy in the fields, he couldn't find even one to carry his luggage.
Then, who do you think helped him? Shall we ask the young man?
Yes, ma'am. It's really interesting. Finally, my father came up with a solution.
Don't worry. I myself will see you off at Durang.
No, father. How could I allow you, my old father, to carry my trunk? What would people think? What would they say? But I failed to dissuade him. I mean, I couldn't stop him. It was decided that father would carry the chest.
Now, students, can anyone continue the story in your words?
Yes, ma'am. I am ready. A large crowd gathered at our place the day he was to leave. People had come to wish him luck. It was 20 past 10 o'clock when he left for Durang. His father had already left. As he had to do a bit of catching up, to reach his father, he walked fast.
Good, Sam. Now let's listen to their conversation in their words.
3 kilometers down the road, I caught up with my father.
You're late. Would you like to rest for some time?
Having walked fast, I was tired. Moreover, I had to cross 2 hills on the way up to the spot. I quickly sat down on a rock.
Ha 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 ha.
My father laughed at my plight.
So this little distance has tired you? Rest for a while. But we have to be in time for the bus.
Okay. Father was quiet for some time. He thoughtfully looked at the sun for a moment, and then his eyes fell on the can of homemade wine that I was carrying. Wetting his lips with his tongue, he said in a matter-of-fact manner,
I am thirsty.
I gave him the can of wine. He poured himself a mug and handed me the can. He drank all of it at one go. He then arranged the belt that was attached to the trunk carefully on his forehead. So, this was the picture. My father carrying my luggage on his back and me following him with a tiny bag in my hand. We were walking up a narrow hilly road, and neither of us uttered a word, as if we were strangers who spoke different languages. I did not know what was going on in his mind. From time to time it crossed my mind that it was improper for me to let father carry the luggage. I wanted to tell him that I would like to carry the trunk myself, but my guilt and shame did not allow me to do so. This self-consciousness had probably to do with my education, the white-collar job that I had, or quite simply my pride. Somehow, I had the feeling that if I carried the luggage, my father and my people, in fact the whole world, would laugh at me and I would be belittled. Father had provided for my education, and I had been able to realize his dreams. My parents were truly proud of me. It was through me that they had earned a greater degree of admiration and respect from the villagers. My father would not like to see me carrying a trunk on my back, and would be very hurt if I did so. I concluded that it would be better to let him carry the bag.
Oh, what do you say, children? Will it be right on the narrator's part to allow his father carry his trunk?
Absolutely not, ma'am. He is very mean.
So, children, narrator said that he concluded that it would be better to let his father carry the bag. How could he conclude that? Now justify the statement. Find out the supporting statements from the text. Sam, could you please do it?
Yes, ma'am. He said that his father was used to carrying luggage anyway. He was stronger and more skilled than him in those matters. He had never got used to physical labor, having stayed in hostels right from his childhood. So, in spite of his youth and strength, he was physically useless.
Exactly, Sam. You are right. Okay then, let's go back to the text, to the narrator, and let us follow his words. Right? There it.
I continued walking silently with father. We rested at 2 places on the way and had our tiffin, but we hardly talked. Finally, we reached Durang. The bus from Tawang had not yet reached Durang, and so we had some time on hand. We entered a tea shop and sat facing each other. Father appeared tired. I felt sorry for him but couldn't bring myself to say anything. Waiter, could you please get us 2 cups of tea? Just as I was going to take my first sip, I heard Father's voice.
Do you have a pair of old shoes?
Why?
The road is uneven and full of pebbles. It hurts while walking.
I looked at Father's bare feet. Never having worn shoes, his feet had developed cracks and somehow resembled those of an elephant. I noticed this for the first time. I hadn't noticed that the road was uneven. I didn't have to since I was wearing a pair of hunting boots. I checked my wallet and saw I still had around rupees 40 with me. A pair of canvas shoes would cost around rupees 12, and the remaining amount would be enough for me to get to Bomdilla. Dad, take this rupees 28. Buy new shoes.
No, my son. Give me an old pair. You don't have to spend money on new shoes.
I couldn't convince him to buy a new pair. Reluctantly, I gave him the hunting boots I was wearing. I then took out my pair of leather shoes from the trunk and noticed my father's face lighting up with contentment.
Take care. Ride to us.
Father wanted to say something, but the bus started moving. I saw my father gradually receding into the distance. I saw that the road we had come by looked like a giant motionless road. Father would use the same road to go back home. Simultaneously, our journeys started in 2 opposite directions, with me seated in the luxurious seat of the bus and Father walking back with weary legs on the pebble-strewn road.
Love you, my boy. Don't forget your father will be waiting.
Oh, how sad.
Yeah, really it's sad, Sam. So, do you think that education makes shun physical labor? And is it an adverse effect of education? So now it's a high time for your assignment, right? Are you ready for the assignment? So here we go.
In the story The Journey, the author says, "My education had made me shun physical labor. This is an adverse effect of education." Now write an essay on the adverse effects of education. Here are some points. Effect on doing some work that involves physical labor, dress/fashion, family relationships, giving respect to elders, the treatment of illiterate people.
Hope you will complete your task. See you in the next session. Till then, bye bye. Have a nice time.